James, I'll start with you. I know there are a lot of tech themes that you like, but would you say that the pullback in the big cap tech names right now is telling us something more broadly about the market?
It's important to understand context and where we're coming from. August had a 30.32 average PE ratio in the S&P, and as we know, the S&P is dominated by tech. That was the highest average PE month in 20 years. And so there was incredible gains in August. And so we had to have a pullback. As significant as this pullback was, a technical correction, we're still higher than we ended July. The momentum is still there. However, I do think there's continued downside given the macro environment with COVID. And we see overall general economic weakness in our country. And so we're going to have some tepid growth. But when we have a big pullback, we're going to go in and buy.
James, it's interesting that you say you see more downside for tech, but because of weakness in the macro environment and problems with COVID, a lot of people are thinking that it's actually because of the economic rebound that we're seeing the weakness, because people are finally rotating into Caterpillar and 3M and some of these other names. They say I can find growth elsewhere than just, Facebook and Google. What would you say to that?
Well, let's put our thinking caps on and look at, where the money is coming from and how it's being spent and how it's being applied. What happens to retail sales when supplementary unemployment benefits run out? What happens at that point? What happens when the trickle-down effect of all these sub-industries shutting down and the momentum of our great bull market of 12 years from '09, when that starts to slow down and the Fed, where the smartest people in the world, economically speaking, are saying that we're not going to do anything for 38 months, to quote Powell, they're going to hold rates until the end of 2023 at the earliest. That's 38 months of uncertainty. As far as back as I can check, we haven't seen anything like that. With that overhang, there's going to be ramifications from what we've seen in this instant recovery that we saw. It's temporary. As we see in all big market sell-offs, there's a bounce, but this bounce has stopped. We're not going straight up anymore.
Okay.
And as we come down, we're going to see that across the sectors.
And I know
tech.
all of that is why you like some of the secular growth stories like Datadog, like Zoom, like DocuSign. Right. So, Bryce, let me turn to you, bring you into this conversation. Are you as cautious on the macro outlook and COVID and big tech as James?
Well, I think the timing of what he's talking about, what James is talking about, is kind of critical. But that's also what's creating the opportunity. In the near term, you're going to see some things take some hits with the virus spreading because of everyone going back to school and whatnot. But the